Aloha, this is Dr. Michelle Grove speaking, and I am your religious education consultant. It's really good to be with you this morning. I have a story for you. So, sometimes finding balance means shifting the way you view things. We can help our community find balance, but first we also need to find balance from within ourselves. So here is a story about a young person who's learning to find balance on the inside so that they can do good work in their school and their community. Now, there's no pictures to this story, so I hope that you will find beautiful images and pictures in your imagination while I tell this story. After all, those are the most beautiful pictures of all. Here is our story. The Smith family went to church this morning at the United Church of Christ in their hometown. They attended this church almost every Sunday and received a great deal from the community and the teachings. Today, the worship leader read a scripture from the New Testament book of Romans, and it said, "If your enemies are hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink, for by doing this you will heap burning coals on their head. Do not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Feed your enemies? This is a confusing idea. Be nice to your enemies? Treat evil with good? This seems really hard to do. The children who are in the Smith family are 7 and 10, and they were especially puzzled. Why feed your enemies, they wondered. Their parents also wondered this as well. Now, day after day, Adrian, the oldest, came home from school complaining about a classmate who sat behind them in 4th grade. "Zane keeps jabbing me when Mrs. Bailey isn't looking. One of these days when we're out on the playground, I'm going to jab them right back. At least that's the very least I can do." Adrian's parents weren't happy either. They thought that Zane was a brat. Besides, they thought the teacher should be doing a better job with the kids in the class. The parents sat at the table wondering what they were going to do when Adrian's 7-year-old sister, Amelia, spoke up. "Maybe you should feed Zane." Everyone stopped eating and stared, with Adrian asking, because Zane is my enemy? Adrian's sister nodded. We all looked at each other quickly, clearly uncomfortable with thinking of Zane as an enemy. It didn't seem as if an enemy could be in the 4th grade. An enemy was someone far off in another country, a grown-up. Adrian looked at the family and asked, "What do you think?" "Well," Adrian's mom said, "that scripture we heard in church, we learned about, it says that's what we should do, so maybe you should give it a try. Do you know what Zane likes to eat? If you are going to feed them, you may as well find food that they like." Amelia asked, "Does Zane like goldfish?" That was Amelia's favorite snack. "No." "How about cookies?" Adrian's father asked. He loved to bake. "Maybe," Adrian answered. Everyone was quiet. "Jelly beans!" Adrian shouted. "Zane loves jelly beans." So Adrian bought a bag of jelly beans to take to school. We would see whether or not feeding the enemy worked. The next day, sure enough, Zane jabbed Adrian in the back. Adrian turned around and slapped the bag of jelly beans on Zane's desk. When the bus dropped Adrian off at home, their mom was waiting for them. "It worked! It worked! After Zane jabbed me, I gave them the jelly beans. Zane was so surprised they didn't say anything. They just took them. And I didn't get jabbed for the rest of the day." On the next day, or the next, in fact, Adrian became good friends with Zane because of a little bag of jelly beans. Adrian also realized that Zane was never really their enemy. Zane was just someone Adrian didn't know. Zane was just someone who needed Adrian to show them friendship. Maybe people who we think are our enemies are just hungry. Maybe not for food, but for acts of kindness. Maybe this is true. I wonder. What do you think? Mahalo. You all take care. It is good to be with you today.